Quentin Tarantino, the legend. Royale with cheese. Let's analyze this genius. Everybody thinks he's a genius. Let's analyze one of his monologues. Let's analyze this genius, this absolute genius monologue that everybody just can't get enough of. All the critics, everybody thinks this is the greatest. It's like Shakespeare. Now, before you think that this is a stupid monologue that Tarantino thought up, remember that it comes back later when they're gonna kill those guys. They go, "Oh, is that a big Kahuna burger? Oh, do you mind if I wash it down with your tasty beverage?" And he goes, "Vincent, what do they call a Big Mac in, what do they call it, a quarter pounder in Amsterdam?" And Vincent goes, "Royale with cheese." A Royale with cheese. So you see how, the initial monologue now comes back later. So isn't that just so brilliant? So I'm going to recite this unbelievably profound writing, because it deserves to be recited, because it's just so fucking profound. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that Vincent, the character in Pulp Fiction, just got back from Amsterdam. Okay? And none of us know anything about Amsterdam. I've been to Amsterdam, so it's really not that big of a deal. It's almost like saying Americans are so stupid that they don't even know what Amsterdam is, or that other countries have different customs. So this is just fascinating news to Jules, because he's such a moron. He can't believe this stuff. So they start out talking about how in Amsterdam they have hash bars. So in Amsterdam, hash is legal, but it ain't 100% legal. I mean, you can't just walk into a restaurant, roll a joint, and start puffing away. I mean, what fascinating subject matter. If my friend went to Amsterdam, unless I was 16, I wouldn't be going on about, so what's going on with the hash bars? I'd probably be saying, what's going on in the art galleries or something. When I went to Amsterdam, I stayed at Rembrandt Square. I have many better stories than hash bars. I mean, I don't know if this is a conversation so much as just a tutorial on Amsterdam. And he goes, it's legal to buy it, it's legal to own it. And of course they all have to talk cool, because Quentin Tarantino prompted them and said, you have to talk really, really cool. It's legal to own it, and if you're the proprietor of a hash bar, it's legal to sell it. It's legal to carry it, but that doesn't matter, cause get a load of this. Alright? If you get stopped by a cop in Amsterdam, it's illegal for them to search you. I mean, that's a right the cops in Amsterdam don't have. This whole part of this movie does not age well. I mean, are they trying to say that Americans are that ignorant of what goes on in the rest of the world? And then Sammy Jackson goes, "Oh man, I'm going. That's all there is to it. I'm fucking going." And I was gonna skip this part, but no. John Travolta goes, "I know, baby, you dig it the most." And I was gonna not include that part because I thought it was irrelevant, but this whole thing is irrelevant. And what were you all saying, all you movie critics, about how great Quentin Tarantino is at writing dialogue? Oh, but enlighten us further, Quentin, and your stupid character. But you know what the funniest thing about Europe is? And Jules goes, "What?" And John Travolta goes, "It's the little things." Oh, I'm sorry, Shakespeare, I misquoted you. What he actually said is, "It's the little differences." I mean, viewing it right now, I'm just like, oh, really? Please, wise man, tell us about the little differences about Europe. Enlighten me about your world knowledge, you effing idiot. You know, Europe actually has some nuances. They're different than us, you know, because it's a different country. No way, yo, it's a different country? Yeah, it's altogether a different country. Vincent continues. I mean, they got the same shit over there that we got here, but just they're a little different. And I'm like, well, I'll be goddamned. Are you telling me different countries are a little different? I tell you, if I was a character in that car during this scene, I would be like, you're not seriously gonna go on about fucking Royale with cheese. Like, I really hope that's not what you're gonna... Like, what is this bullshit? Shut up! Just shut up! I mean, I would be like, if I was sitting in the car with somebody who's going on about how there's little differences between countries, I'd be like, okay, that's enough. You lost me already. Like, that, okay. And then Jules goes, because John Travolta just said, it's a little different. And Samuel Jackson goes, example. I don't know who talks like that, where you're talking with your friend, and they're describing something, and then you go, example. you would say, can you give me an example? Reminding you that I'm analyzing this monologue. Everybody thinks Quentin Tarantino is so good at writing dialogue, monologue, blah, blah, blah. And the moron in the car, Vincent, goes, all right, when you walk into a movie theater in Amsterdam and buy a beer, and I don't mean just like in an old paper cup, I'm talking about a glass of beer. Okay, and I gotta pause this because this dialogue, this movie, because I just can't believe this. This is just the most amazing thing I've ever heard. It's not just like in an old paper cup. It's like a whole glass of beer in Amsterdam. Well, like that just changes my whole perspective on the universe. And in Paris, you can buy a beer at McDonald's. Like, who the hell cares or is surprised, even if you didn't know that? Like, who cares? So what? You can buy a beer at McDonald's. And you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris? And if I'm sitting in the back of this car, I'm like, I don't care. Who gives a fuck? But Jules, he responds with, they don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese? Actually, if I was writing this, if I was Vincent, I would respond with, actually, yeah, they do call it a quarter pounder with cheese. But Vincent, he's so savvy because he just went to Amsterdam for one day, right? So he's so world savvy. He goes, no, they got the metric system there. They wouldn't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is. So then Jules says, so then what do they call it? And Vince says, the famous line, they call it Royale with cheese. And like, boom, drop the mic. Wow. This must be this is what a climactic moment in this fascinating conversation. And Jules looks at Vincent and he smiles and he nods and he's like, yeah, Royale with cheese. But now that this wonderful writing, this wonderful dialogue has reached such a climax, we gotta break the ice a little bit. So Jules says, what do they call a Big Mac? And Vincent says, well, you know, a Big Mac's a Big Mac, but they call it Le Big Mac. I guess that's a pretty deep revelation, right? Like, instead of Big Mac, it's like the Big Mac. And Jules repeats, Le Big Mac, because I guess he's really stupid. Just imagine I'm sitting in the back of the car and I'm like, oh my god, these guys are, holy shit. This is what you guys talk about? And now, you know, it's such a deep conversation. Yeah, they gotta break the ice. So Jules goes, what do they call a Whopper? And Vince goes, I don't know. I didn't go into a Burger King. Oh, there we go. Let's not get more into that. That's too deep. Let's change the subject. But, like, you know what? I don't think we're done. We should talk more. Like, no, let's have some real deep conversation. So, you know what they put on French fries in Holland instead of ketchup? Oh my God. And Jules goes, what? And you'll never believe. And Vincent goes, mayonnaise. Oh my God, the dialogue. Holy shit. I mean, like. And Vince goes, and they're both laughing. They're like so like amazed at this. And he goes, I seen them do it, man. They fucking drown them in that shit, man. The mayonnaise. Oh my God, mayonnaise with French fries? Holy fuck. Well, I'll be goddamned. I'm gonna change my religion. Now, I mean, this has been a lot of like very deep content, so I'm gonna save the next scene for another video. But there's a later scene where Jules actually eats a big kahuna burger, and there's a whole other dialogue which is also Shakespearean in terms of how deep and meaningful and like all the layers, where he says he harkens back to this initial profound speech where he says to Vincent, what do they call a Big Mac? What do they call a quarter pounder in Amsterdam? And Vincent goes, Royale with cheese. And Jules goes, Royale with cheese. So, yeah, I mean, this Quentin Tarantino. He's a genius filmmaker, and this is one of his most famous scenes. So let's compare these two idiots to real life, okay? I went to Amsterdam when I was 24. What did I tell people about Amsterdam when I came back? Well, I didn't tell them about a Royale with cheese. I said, holy smokes, the girls there are just like down GTF or DTF. They're very into Canadians, so it's just a lot easier to score. There's lots of art. It's funny how this idiot, Vincent, he went to Amsterdam, but he didn't visit any art galleries. He just went to McDonald's. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the entire reason he went to Amsterdam was to just go to McDonald's. But I mean, if you want to analyze good writing, don't analyze Shakespeare, don't analyze Dostoevsky, don't analyze, for heaven's sake, don't analyze, I don't know, who else is good at dialogue? Mark Twain? No, just check out this little clip of the conversation about how the only thing this idiot learned from his travel to Amsterdam was about burgers. And always remember that they're not just having a casual conversation about burgers that has no relevance to the plot, because in the next scene, they're going to compare it to Big Kahuna Burger. Now, all the YouTube idiots these days are always using the term deep dive, so I'll say, this was my deep dive into this deep conversation, this like expertly written dialogue from Pulp Fiction. You gotta wonder though, like, people from Europe, when they watch this movie, they gotta be like, wow, Americans are really shallow. That's all they think about. The only thing they think about when they think about Europe is like how we have we slightly name our burgers differently. But if you've seen my previous video, you would realize that the real subtext to this is that these guys are just really cool. They're really cool. And a cool person doesn't go to an art gallery. That would be nerdy gay stuff. No. You just get a burger and you go to a hash bar, and then you come home and you tell people, I had a burger in Amsterdam, and I went to a hash bar, and you know, and they called it a Le Big Mac. Oh my God, they call it a Le Big Mac? Well, holy fuck. Wait a second, I'm about to faint. You're telling me they call a quarter pounder of a Royale with cheese? Well, this is just too much for me. I mean, this is just so much insightful information all coming at me at once. I don't know how I'm supposed to compute this in my brain, my big brain. Okay, so first you tells me that it's a you tell me that a quarter pounder is a Royale with cheese, and now you're telling me that Big Mac is called Le Big Mac. This is just I don't even know what to think anymore. What am I supposed to do next time I go to a McDonald's? And like, oh my God, you're telling me you can drink a beer in a movie theater? That's, oh my God, like my entire universe is shattered. I mean, my whole understanding of the universe was that you're only allowed to drink soft drinks in movie theaters. But this changes everything. Are you telling me I can get hammered in a movie theater? I mean, wow. Are you telling me my whole life that I thought that I could go to a movie theater and I wasn't allowed to drink beer? What's next? Are you going to tell me something like in Europe that, I mean, this is just fucking crazy. Are you telling me that next thing you're going to say is that they drive on the other side of the road? I mean, I no longer know what up is, whether up is down or down is up, or where, I don't even know. I've never even heard of Amsterdam. Jules. Yes, Vincent. What is it? I think we're very stupid people, aren't we? We are like extraordinarily uneducated. And not just that, but we're so cool we don't even try to learn anything because Royale with cheese was the most fascinating thing I've ever heard. Anyhow, Pulp Fiction was a great movie, and that entire dialogue should have been deleted. He never should have included that in the movie. It lessened the movie. It made it worse. And it prevented it from being the masterpiece that it could have been if a few little tweaks, Quentin. Sometimes work a little harder next time. Oh wait, you had a lot of next times and you worked less hard each time. Anyways, if you liked this movie, you thought it was fucking cool, you thought okay, I don't know. If you like Royale with cheese, then click like. And if you like Little Big Mac, subscribe. And if you heard of Amsterdam, click the notification bell. And fucking, cool. If your mind is blown by the idea that in some countries you can drink a glass of beer in a movie theater, then subscribe. And have yourself a motherfucking cool, kick-ass, bad motherfucking day. I take that back. I didn't mean have a bad day. I meant have a bad motherfucker of a day. You gotta understand my cool talk. Alright? Okay? Alright? Okay? Alright?